For the residents of Christchurch in New Zealand, Japan's tragedy has been a grim reminder of their harrowing ordeal 3 weeks ago. The earthquake there flattened the city and claimed 166 lives. A short time ago, I spoke to the ABC's New Zealand correspondent Dominique Schwartz in the devastated city. Dominique Schwartz, these scenes in Japan must be particularly gut-wrenching for people there in Christchurch where you are.
They are, Lee. The Japanese disaster is very keenly felt here. It's 3 weeks ago today that the earthquake happened and the lives of people here changed forever. They know what it's like for things to change in an instant. And people are very jumpy here. Only a few moments ago, the Canterbury District Council put out a bulletin reassuring people that the risk of a tsunami striking Christchurch was very low despite the ongoing aftershocks. So that gives you some sense of how people here are feeling. There were quite strong links between Japan and Christchurch. There were a lot of Japanese students studying here and quite a few were killed. Thought maybe 24 were killed in the earthquake here. We have 2 New Zealanders who there are grave concerns held for their safety in the disaster zone in Japan. Search and rescue teams from Japan came to Christchurch to help out, and now New Zealand search and rescue teams have gone to Japan. So you can see there's a lot of two-way traffic there. Disaster has brought the two countries together. And while in actual terms the Japanese disaster is huge, here in Christchurch in relative terms their disaster has also been huge. This is New Zealand's second biggest city, which has basically been knocked out by the earthquake. So it's going to be a very long recovery in both places.
Well, in terms of that recovery, are authorities in New Zealand confident about how soon Christchurch will be able to get back on its feet?
Obviously, the government and the people of Christchurch want Christchurch to be a functioning city again, but there's a very big debate about that. 1/3 of the buildings in the CBD may have to be demolished. There are 1,500 houses which at this stage are red stickered, which means there's a question mark over their future, and indeed there's a question mark over some of the suburbs of Christchurch. So we're seeing at the moment business people going into the CBD given 3 hours to salvage what they can before the demolition teams move in. At the moment, businesses are being forced out into the suburbs, working from homes, they're relocating. So there's some question about whether what will happen now is that there'll be satellites set up around Christchurch. Will people want to come back into the CBD? Thousands of people have already left, and the question is how many of those are going to want to come back and live here for fear of further earthquakes.
Dominique Schwartz in Christchurch, a long way still to go there, obviously. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Lee.